You are now listening to the very first episode of Watch More Sports with G Dot and Big Lou.
Hey, yo.
On this show, you get a little bit of everything when it comes to sports.
Everything.
A little bit of hip-hop culture that comes with it as far as the players are concerned. A little bit of drama as far as the protests. We'll get into that. Everything that's surrounding the sports culture, we'll get into. And I think we'll start off right now with the NFL. Before we even get into the culture piece of it, we got to talk about the home teams. We got to talk about the Giants 10 weeks into the season being 1-9. I don't know if it's more of a surprise, the Giants being 1-9 or the Jets being 4-6.
Yeah, I think a lot of people thought that it was going to be the other way around. And the Jets would be the 1-9 team, but the Jets had an offensive line that was serviceable last year, and the Giants didn't.
True. I mean, if you're the GM, though, you got to know going into the season that you need to service it to the O-line. But I'm gonna take the unpopular route here when it comes to the Giants, and I'm gonna place this season squarely on the shoulders of Eli Manning. And there's gonna be a lot of people that's gonna be like, "What are you talking about?" But look, I get it. 2 Super Bowls. I think it's 2 Super Bowl MVPs. He's obviously been loved in this city, but I think Eli, I think the best thing that happened to Eli is winning the 2 Super Bowls. At the same time, for the city, I think the worst thing that can happen is 2 Super Bowls because Eli's gonna get a pass for the rest of his career. He's 36, and he doesn't get touched when it comes to criticism.
I can understand that, but the thing about it is, if your quarterback doesn't have time to make plays.
Come on.
How? He last year he was releasing the ball at an alarming rate, like 2.3 seconds. But this year he's even faster than that. That isn't because the offensive line got better. It's because it got worse.
Okay, so how many times have we watched the Giants and Eli drop back, no pressure, and he'll throw a pass and it's a tip ball, or excuse me, the ball goes off the fingertips of the wide receiver and it's intercepted. How many times have we seen that replayed over and over again?
See, but you said it goes off the fingertips of the wide receiver. That sounds like it should have been a catch.
But it's an inaccurate pass. We're talking about the Odell Beckhams of the world. Before that, we're talking about the Victor Cruzes of the world, Plaxico Burress's of the world.
Yes, but we herald the OBJs of the world because they had this astronomical catch radius. So,
but
what are we talking about?
I think that we love Odell Beckham so much because he. Listen, and they don't talk about this much. Odell Beckham makes bad throws look like great catches.
Yeah.
In my opinion.
Yes, he definitely does that.
Think about that catch, that Monday Night Football catch that really put him on the map against Dallas. When he had to reach back, remember that? When one hand pass interference was called, he caught the ball and fell into the end zone?
Yeah.
Think about the pass. Understand the catch was amazing, but close your eyes, picture that throw, and realize that the ball was probably overthrown. No one says that. No one talks about that. No one criticizes Eli about that. Again, he's got 2 Super Bowl rings. So, is it to a point in the NFL where if you win the ring, you're untouchable? Joe Flacco is another person. He's got a ring, had a great season that year that they won the Super Bowl, and he's been awful ever since. Is he untouchable now?
It's not that you're untouchable. It's you're given a little bit of leeway because you've taking your team to the promised land, and there's only how many Super Bowls have there been?
I mean, yeah, whatever, the 51,
there's a small group of quarterbacks who have done that.
I get it, but so if you ask me today, would I rather have Matt Ryan or Eli Manning? I'm gonna tell you Matt Ryan.
I'm gonna ask you about the other parameters on the team.
So in order for me to say Eli Manning, I gotta have a perfect offensive line. I've gotta have a dominant defense. I've gotta have an Odell Beckham. I've gotta have a Victor Cruz in his prime. I've gotta have come on.
The Patriots wouldn't have beaten Eli Manning and the Falcons last year.
They wouldn't have beaten Eli Manning if he was on the Falcons?
No.
Nah.
Eli Manning would have made the plays. That's one thing I'm certain.
I'm not blaming
Eli Manning makes the plays.
You blaming Matt Ryan for the Super Bowl last year?
Yes.
What? I gotta hear the logic behind it.
Because you have to keep Tom Brady off the field.
Okay. I mean, he's not calling the plays though. If
No, he is calling the
Kyle
plays.
Shanahan is calling
They send the plays in, but they send 3 plays in, and you make the decision to based on the defense. You are the play caller. Because it's not like he's a rookie quarterback. He's been in the league for years. They trust him.
I don't think Matt Ryan had autonomy where he could.
It's not all on him because you got to put some blame on that defense. But that defense is young. You're supposed to help that defense as a veteran quarterback. Eat time off that clock. Get that ball to Devontae Freeman and Tevin Coleman.
Matt Ryan had an MVP season last year.
He did. But he did not play like an MVP in the second half of that Super Bowl.
Okay, we'll agree to disagree with the Super Bowl. I cannot place any of that on Matt Ryan. I think Kyle Shanahan called the plays. He called running plays on first down, and screen plays on second down. Like, run the ball. And he just paid the running back. I'm
not putting the blame on him, really. What I am saying is Eli Manning would have made the plays to win the game.
Okay, all right. I mean, I can see Eli Manning throwing some balls off the fingertips of Julio Jones.
You know what I mean? There's not a universe where that exists.
Yo, y'all really? Okay, so Eli gets a pass for real. Like, I'm shocked I'm in the minority. I'm not a Giant fan.
I put all the blame on the offensive line. If your offensive line doesn't work, if your engine don't work, your car not gonna move.
Oddly enough, after they switched Eric Flowers, I think they moved him to, I want to say guard.
Yep.
They moved him to guard, and there was a Bleacher Report article the other day where he's been fine since he moved to guard. So, and look, I haven't watched the Giants since they've been 1-5. Like, it's just too hard to watch. Like, the blowout in L.A., you lost to the 49ers. I didn't watch any of that. It was just too ugly.
It's understandable.
You blaming the O-line on that, too? You gave up 50-something points. Then you gave up 50 to the Rams. That's not the O-line's fault. And you got some well-paid players on the defensive side of the ball for the New York Giants.
True, but you haven't invested in your linebackers in I don't know how many years.
Linebackers are overrated. Olivier Vernon plays both.
Linebackers are overrated. Look, if you can't stop running backs and tight ends out of the backfield, you cannot stop the pass.
Okay. Look, Olivier Vernon plays both lineman and linebacker.
He stands up sometimes. He's a defensive end. So if you're asking him to cover anything, you're misguided in your
So we're saying JPP fine. The rest of that line fine.
I love their line.
The DBs are great on the Giants.
I love their DBs.
So
I love their front line.
1-9 on the O line and the linebacking core. I just have a hard time not putting any blame on the quarterback. And of course the coach. I'm not even gonna get into McAdoo. McAdoo honestly not even worth talking about. He'll be gone at the end of the year. He doesn't carry himself like a head coach. He doesn't talk to the media like a head coach. He is your prototypical. I'm an offensive coach. I should be an assistant coach. I should never be a head coach.
I feel him, but I feel like the GM really dropped the ball on this. Like he's been coasting off that Odell Beckham draft pick since the Landon Collins. Like he got a couple good ones here and there, but he has not stocked the shelves.
How bad does it look that you passed on Larry Tunsil? And I think you picked Eric Flowers because you passed on Larry Tunsil. You passed up on Larry Tunsil because of that video that shows him with the gas mask, I think, and he was taking pulls of whatever. Yeah. And he fell down to, I guess it was 13th to Miami. And I think at that time, that's the same draft that they took Eric Flowers, if I'm not mistaken. I think
he was a late round pick. They took Eli Apple early.
Right. There you go. Eli Apple, and then they took Eric Flowers. So how bad does that look? Because Larry Tunsil's been fine in Miami.
Yeah, he has.
Not a peep, and nothing in the media.
I like Eli Apple, but I feel like if they had Tunsil, they'd be better situated. And then if they'd be better off with a good deep offensive lineman than another good cornerback.
Yeah, because you had Janoris Jenkins already on the team, right?
Yeah.
And I think
you had DRC and you just signed Jenkins.
Right, so you didn't need like a DB in the first round. Just didn't make sense. I understand you need depth at wide receiver in this league, at defensive back in this league.
But you could have maybe found it elsewhere.
You could have definitely did that somewhere else. And Eli Apple's name wasn't exactly ringing as
The thing about him is he's young.
He's good. Don't get me wrong.
You get to by the time his first contract is done, he's going to be like 24, 25. So it's like you're signing a rookie to a 7-year deal.
I get it.
You know what I'm saying? It works out great. It's what the Jets are going to have with Darren Lee.
Right.
Like he's really starting to figure it out at the linebacker or as a coverage backer, and he's using his speed, and he's not getting pushed around as much because he knows where he's supposed to be going. And that's what Eli Apple. He's not a bum.
No, I didn't say that. I agree. I didn't say that.
But what they need is offensive line help, because if your quarterback has to throw the ball before your wide receiver can get 15 yards for the out, and all your routes have to be 7 yards or less, like that's not conducive to high scoring offense.
You know what I've never heard, and I'm just comparing Eli to his peers. I've never heard Brady, Roethlisberger, even Flacco, Matt Ryan. None of those quarterbacks. I've never heard any of those quarterbacks complain about lack of O-line play.
Yeah, because you've never seen those quarterbacks have to deal with bad offensive line play for 2 seasons.
All right, so name the beast offensive lineman on the Falcons that stands out.
Alex Mack,
the All-Pro. Okay, Alex Mack.
Isn't Robert Garza? No, he's not out there anymore. Like they have a good O line. Like Matthews, don't they got Jake Matthews?
Do they still have him?
Yeah, like they got some beasts over there, and then they brought in a Pro Bowler.
I mean,
you know what I'm saying? Like,
I don't know.
Ask Dak Prescott if O lines matter.
No, they matter. Look, they matter. That Dallas O line last year is not as good as it was. Not as good this year as it was last year. Smith has been hurt, and I think they lost somebody. I forget the person that they lost, but it's not as good as it was last year. But last year, what you saw on Dallas was an O-line that gelled and worked together, and Ezekiel Elliott was eating, and Dak Prescott got to drop back, 3-step drop, 5-step drop, 7-step drop, and just
figure things out.
Figure it out
on the
as
fly.
a rookie quarterback. As I agree. And then you saw what happened to the line, and you saw what happened to Dak this past Sunday when he got sacked 6 times by one defensive lineman.
Like
So
it's a
O-line is
little
important.
different when that O-line ain't doing what you expect it to do.
It's also your job as a quarterback to audible out if you see a blitz and change the protection. And Eli's been around long enough to know that if you can see that they're blitzing, they know the line is weak. You gotta have the running back help out. You gotta have the tight end chip, whatever the case may be. Eli should know. I'm putting it on Eli. I'm sorry. Quarterbacks have all the autonomy when it comes to offense. You got an audible. You call the other plays. It is what it is. If it's a 2nd and 14, then it's your job to audible out if you see a blitz coming. If call for a screen if a blitz is coming. That's his quarterback's job.
That's the other thing that the GM has no interest in investing in. Go get a running back. Like you've been trying to piece it together with undrafted bums and like who? Rashard Jennings? Really?
Nah, listen.
I know he ain't playing this year, but y'all gave that man way too many carries.
Listen, Bilal Powell is killing for the Jets this year. I don't know if I could blame Jerry Reese for going cheap on the running back position. That's just the way to.
Bilal Powell was a 4th-round draft pick. That's
middle of the road.
All right, Paul Perkins was a 4th round, but he's a bum.
I mean,
I thought he was going to be good, but he's not the one.
Listen, I can't blame Jerry Reese for not drafting a running back. I can't, because you got Odell Beckham on as the wide receiver core for the Giants, was supposed to be legit this year, right? You got Eli back there. You're gonna have to be economical, for lack of a better word, somewhere on the team. So running back was where they chose to do it. You had some young boys. You had
and O-line.
I mean.
So now you can't.
Is Justin Pugh still on the O-line for the Giants? I know we spend a lot of time on the O-line, but
when he's one of their good O-line, but he's always hurt. I think he's playing this year though.
Okay.
And it's like, when was Eli great?
All right. So here's my question: you have a top 5 pick this year. Do you spend it on a successor for Eli Manning, or do you spend it on a quality O-lineman and hope that Eli lasts you another 3-4 years? And Lou, I know you're not a Giant fan.
I spend it on either Eli's successor or a running back to give Eli a chance in the coming years.
You want a first-round running back?
Yes.
So if you
if they had Leonard Fournette right now, they'd be fine.
Hold on.
They'd be fine.
You're the GM for the Giants. You're looking at this team right now. Let's say you finish. You're 1-9 as you record this. So you say you finished 3-13.
Is Barkley old enough to come out yet? Saquon from the Penn State?
Yeah, it's just his 2nd year, so he can come out in the first round.
Here you go.
It's the same O-line then, if that's the case.
I'm getting a running back who's going to get me yards, regardless of what the offensive line does.
Every running back needs a line, though.
Yes, needs one, but some running backs are going to turn 1 yard runs into 4 yard runs.
I think you can get a quality running back in free agency.
Yes, they've been trying to, and then that's how you end up with Rashard Jennings.
Like the Dallas Cowboys. Zeke is suspended for the next 6 games, and the Dallas Cowboys had Alfred Morris, who rushed for 1,000 yards twice for the Redskins, and then their third running back is Darren McFadden. Like, the Dallas Cowboys are stacked at running back. You can find you some free agent somewhere.
And then you look at the Giants running back depth chart, and you're like, oh, there must not be running backs in this league at all.
Jerry Reese's fault. I agree with you 100%.
Like,
I agree.
A lot of teams don't have running backs.
I don't want to say a lot. It's not that hard to find a good running back. This is what you do. If you don't have a quality running back that can do it all, this is what most teams have been doing. You get you a pounder for cheap, when I'm talking about big bruiser, and you get you a scat back for cheap. So you get you a Eddie Lacy for cheap, and you get you Kenyon Drake. Something like that.
Eagles got a little bit of that right now.
Right. They got LeGarrette Blount, they just traded for Jay Ajayi. He's kind of an all-around back. Yeah. But before him, they had to start the season. They had LeGarrette Blount, and they had homeboy who tore his ACL. Sproles. So you got your scat back, and you got you a bruiser. That's how you do it for cheap.
Yeah. But when you have a Fournette, when you have a Ezekiel Elliott, when you have a Dalvin Cook, like those type of players, they put your offense in a whole different bracket. And then all your deficiencies in your offense game start to disappear because you got a running back who's stealing 7-yard trunks off of plays where he should have been stopped in the backfield for 2 yards a loss.
I fault Jerry Reese for not fixing the O-line, and we're going to get to the Jets in a second. I fault Jerry Reese for not fixing the O-line. I can't fault him for taking Perkins because that's, like I said, that's the way the league is going. You get you a middle-of-the-round running back, and you make it work. You're going to run the ball once on first down, and you're going to pass on second and third down. But on average.
Thunder and what was it? Earth, Wind, and Fire. Thunder and Lightning. When the Giants have running games, Eli succeeds. He takes teams to Super Bowls.
True. Okay.
Why not get a running back? A couple of them, actually, because that's how it works best with him.
I was a fan of Rashard Jennings, by the way. I think he got a bad rap, actually.
I think he's pedestrian. He's always... Even when he was on the Raiders, the Jaguar, he was always like, you look like a running back, but
I was a fan of his. All right, fair enough.
Look like Tarzan, play like Jane type shit.
We'll agree to disagree. Another team in New York that's been surprisingly, but not bad, they've actually been okay, although they had a bad loss last week, was the Jets. Jets are 4-6. They had an opportunity to be 5-5 last week. They were playing the lowly Buccaneers, who were starting Fitzpatrick.
Yeah, that bum.
And somehow, some way, the Jets figured out. See, what's going to happen this year is what I feared was going to happen with the Jets. I wanted the Jets to either be competitive in a weak AFC and make the playoffs, or be like 2-14. What I didn't want is 8-8, 7-9, 6-10, and that's exactly what's going to happen. They got 4 wins already through 10 weeks. Their schedule's been pedestrian. They got to play the Patriots again. I think they played the Broncos. I could be wrong, but I think for the last 6 games or so, they only got 2 winning teams on the schedule, if I'm not mistaken.
Okay.
They beat the Jaguars this year, which is a surprise, and that was probably the only surprise win. They beat the Bills. They beat the Dolphins, which are terrible. It's just the AFC's bad this year, so the Jets got some wins that they probably shouldn't have gotten in the regular year. Finished 7-9 and middle of the road pick. But what I'm hearing is they'll have a lot of cap space. They won't have to sign Sheldon Richardson because they traded him to the Seahawks. So the thinking now is Kirk Cousins.
It's possible.
Minnesota could possibly have 3 quarterbacks on their roster. They're gonna have to choose between Keenum, who's doing well, Bridgewater, who's back, and homeboy who got hurt again. Bradford. So you got to choose.
I might fuck with Bridgewater. I'm good on Keenum, and I'm good on Bradford.
Keenum impressed me in Houston as a Cougar in college.
Yeah.
I'm not really surprised at his success.
I remember him in college,
right,
but I tried McCown out another year before I try to invest in Case Keenum.
You're coming back next year with McCown, you're saying?
If the options are invest money in Case Keenum or try out McCown, give me McCown for another year.
McCown.
Give me McCown for another year.
Why he's been on so many
and you're
teams.
adding Quincy Enunwa. Improving the receiving core.
He's the savior, Quincy Enunwa?
You're giving him more options, and he's the second year in the same offense. He doesn't get that often. So who knows? Maybe he'll excel. But Case Keenum, I'm good.
All right, fair enough. I think the Jets, they have some cornerstones in place, specifically the safeties. I think that line will be
back
good.
End, the front end, and we got some pieces locked in at the linebacker position
and the
too.
O-line has been okay. It's been better than the Giants, that's for sure.
Yes, serviceable.
So they're not as far away as people think. They do need that quality quarterback.
We got a receiving core. Austin Seferian-Jenkins is a viable tight end. He makes catches.
Well, he's got something to prove. He's happy the Jets gave him a chance because he was screwing up the first couple of years.
True.
So he's happy that the Jets rolled the dice on him, and he's
showing up.
Yeah, definitely is. Are you backing up the bank truck for Kirk Cousins next year? If he's out there, because he ain't going back to Washington, and Frisco gave up a lot for Garoppolo, so I don't see them spending that bread for Kirk Cousins after you traded a second-round pick for Garoppolo. You can see Cousins in the green and white?
Yes.
So are you backing up the truck for him? He's already made a killing, so I don't know what his thought process is, but nobody's going to say no to dollar signs. So, Kirk Cousins says, I need a Russell Wilson $60 million guarantee for the next 5 years from age 31 to 36 or whatever it is. You giving that to him?
I think of it like this. We're 4-6 with Josh McCown. We'd be at least 6-4 with Kirk Cousins, if not 8-2.
Okay. All right, fair enough. You're gonna give him some wide receiver. I mean, our wide receiver core, Robbie Anderson. He got a touchdown like the last 4 games.
Robbie Anderson is eating, Jermaine Kearse is doing what he does,
right.
And you don't even see him doing it, but he's doing it, and. We got some young guys, Darius Stewart and Hanson. When they figure something, they might be viable. And Quincy Enunwa was better than all of them.
Enunwa had 1 year.
Yes, and he's better than all of them.
You think he's that good?
I know he's that good. He's a better blocker. He's as good a deep threat as Robbie Anderson. He's not as fast. He's physical. He has all the tools.
I wouldn't want to be cheap with the wide receiver core because I'm banking my season on Quincy Enunwa. You know what I'm saying? He could be the third option.
Quincy Enunwa is going to be the number 1 option next year when he comes back. He was going to be the number 1 option this year.
I'm not comfortable.
It's just Robbie Anderson has flourished.
But I'm not comfortable with giving Kirk Cousins $60 million and saying your go-to guy is Quincy Enunwa. No, not going to Enunwa. He just hasn't. To me, he hasn't proved himself.
He hasn't proved it yet, but in the same breath, you don't have the money to go get Kirk Cousins.
We'll have some cap space.
You think I don't think we'll have enough money to go.
You're going to release Forte. I think a lot of the guaranteed money for Wilkerson is going to be out the way by that time. You're not really paying anybody else.
A lot of people on rookie contracts.
A lot.
But what receiver can you bring in? Who's breaking free?
It's always, come on. Money talks, man.
Yeah, but that's
money talks.
Who's available?
Get you somebody on the downside of their career that's a possession receiver, maybe something like that.
I'd really rather just go with Quincy because Quincy was supposed to be that dude this year.
How do you justify spending that much money on a quarterback then?
Because the fact that you try to Josh McCown out here and you're winning games because you have a defense that is ready to go, and if you have a quarterback who can manage and actually make some plays here and there, we would have won, a couple games that we lost because it was just that McCown isn't equipped to make the play to galvanize an offense.
The schedule's been suspect though.
True.
I don't want it to be fool's gold. The Jets look good. Don't get me wrong. We were expecting to be 4-6. Ugly loss last week, but. Same time we haven't played anybody.
That's not the Jets' fault. The schedule gets doled out every year, and there are years where we have the gauntlet and we're playing. Last year we started out with 7 300-yard passers, and he didn't have no corners. Like,
I get it. We you know what? I'll say something. We had some good losses. The Falcons, we looked good. We looked competitive. I think we had the lead going into
the Raiders. The Raiders whipped up on us.
Right. So, you know, I think the state of New York football, the Giants, I think, are in a transitional period because I think what the ugly reality is for both New York teams, more so Giants than Jets, you need to get you a quarterback. The problem with the Giants is you still got that old thing that's there. Like, majority of Giants fans are going to tell you, let's go at it one more time. Jets fans are like, get me a Kirk Cousins. Get me somebody that's a suitable starter. Let's build around him.
If the Giants are done with Eli, I'll take him for a couple of years. I know he wouldn't games for the Jets.
But we're not winning the Super Bowl now. Why take Eli?
I think he makes us a playoff team immediately.
So you're pro Eli?
I know football players when I see them, and Eli is a football playing Jesse.
Oh, listen. We're going to start taking some callers soon on this show. Not this week, but in a couple of weeks. I'm going to get the opinion of... I'm going to get the New York Pulse. It'll be the segment that will be called the New York Pulse when it comes to stuff like Eli Manning. I don't know if I'm in a minority when it comes to Eli. I'm not a fan. But we're going to move right along. We're going to get on to basketball. Basketball season has started.
Indeed.
We got the Knicks and you got the Nets. I think I'll touch on the Knicks briefly because... let's just face it, it's the Nets, and then they haven't looked good for a while. They won't look good for a little while.
Who?
The Nets and D'Angelo Russell and co. You know, they're going to struggle this year. They looked okay this year. I think they beat the Cavaliers in Brooklyn. So we'll be brief. We'll just say that they're in a rebuilding stage. I think we can agree to that. We can attest to that. They're not going to draw much at the Barclays Center because they don't have a superstar. Besides, I guess, if you want to call D'Angelo a superstar.
No.
You don't want to call him a superstar. You won't even give him that? I think he could ball. I think
no.
I think he got the raw end of the stick in LA. I think because I watched him in Ohio State.
By underachieving?
You think he underachieved? I mean, he
Yes.
wasn't dropping dimes, which is probably why they brought him in. But D'Angelo Russell, I think his first year he averaged maybe 16, 17.
Yeah, but D'Angelo Russell was supposed to be borderline great. He had an opportunity to be the face of a franchise, and he didn't take it. So it's like you can't be mad because you got cast off.
How are you going to be the face of a franchise and you still got Kobe Bryant on the team? And he mentioned that. If you look at his most recent interviews when he faced LA for the first time since he left, he talked about Kobe a lot and about how it affected him trying to, really get in with the team because people are still doing the Kobe goodbye tour and you know what I'm saying? Like, you can't become a face of LA basketball and Kobe's still there.
The fact of the matter is, it was your rookie season and you weren't ready to take the throne yet. Year 2, you might have been more ready to take that jump. But if you're worrying about Kobe's farewell tour and it's your rookie season, like you already lost.
I mean, because you're saying become the face of the franchise, and I'm like nobody was buying Laker tickets to see D'Angelo Russell as long as Kobe was still on the court. You understand what I'm saying?
What does that have to do with you going into the gym and working on your game and elevating your game?
Though. He's better than Lonzo Ball now.
But Alonzo about to be the face of the franchise. He's taking he's ready to carry the cloak on his back. D'Angelo Russell, he was timid. He was worried about Kobe's farewell tour.
I mean, like I said, maybe because I'm just an Ohio State fan and I watched the kid in college and he was balling out there and, I wish him well. I think he got a chance to start anew in Brooklyn and, hopefully he does well. You know what I'm saying?
He would have fared better, I think, if Jeremy Lin didn't get injured because that would have took some pressure off of him.
Definitely would have.
Maybe he can figure it out.
Because he's like and this is probably an unfair comparison, but he's like a Russell Westbrook in the sense that he's not your prototypical point guard. He's almost like a shoot-first point guard, which is what you have nowadays. He's not going for... Russell Westbrook is not a... D'Angelo Russell is not a facilitator.
No.
But a lot of point guards ain't facilitators.
I liken his game more to Curry without the handle.
Yeah, without... without the handle.
It's not as crafty. He got smooth handle, but he's not breaking down defenses in the gym the way Curry is able to at times.
Okay, that's a fair assessment.
And that's really, and I'm not even like in the school of thought where that thinks Curry is like this super crazy ball handler. He's just really good at putting pressure on defenses with his shooting off the pick and roll. You know what I'm saying? Because he does that herk and jerk, and you're just like, oh my God, is he going to shoot? Is he going to? But he can also finish in the lane, so he can also blow by you. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? So he's really good at that. If Russell can be a little bit more consistent with his jumper, he has a chance to do those same type of plays off the pick and roll, but he's not good enough at anything.
James Russell?
Yes.
Yeah.
He's pretty good at a lot of things, but he's not good enough at anything.
He's a scorer. I wouldn't call him a volume scorer. Like I'm not sure what his shooting percentage is. He's not terrible, but I think he's a scorer. I think
he can score.
Yeah, I think he'll give you 20 a night in his prime. He ain't giving you 25. He'll give you 20 a night, which is pretty good. He could be a. He's
a piece.
He could be the second option on a really good team.
Not a superstar. Superstars aren't pieces.
Okay. All right. Fair enough. That's our 2 minutes for the Nets. The Knicks. So the Knicks' most recent game, for those of you that follow the Knicks, was a heartbreaking loss to the Cleveland Cavaliers after being up by, I think it was the most was 23.
It was a learning experience.
That was a couple of things. I think that the Knicks are a young and up and coming team that needed that loss to really open their eyes and see, all right, this is what we need to work on. Because what happened to KP that game is what's going to happen to him in crunch time for the rest of the season.
Yep.
Beat him up a little bit, throw him to the ground a little bit. A lot of those fouls where he's coming off a pick and roll or whatever, and Shumpert throwing him on the ground, or he's getting knocked around. That's going to happen until he can show that he can take them lumps and still pull up for the jumper. First of all, I'm pleasantly surprised that he's been able to, so far, consistently throw up 30 a night. Can he do it for the whole season? We'll see. But he's been able to do it for a dozen games or so. I just don't know if he's going to be able to continue to take that beating that he's been taking in the paint, trying to get past picks, whatever the case may be. They're beating him up.
Being able to take that beating has been the difference in, like, the rise to his game. Like, people want to be cute and say, oh, so Mamelo is gone, so now he's getting more. No, he stopped playing like a little bitch in the post. That's why he's beasting right now. He stopped getting tossed around when defenders put a little elbow in his back. That's why he's scoring 30 right now.
I'd argue he's still getting tossed. You watch that Cavalier game. KP was on his back like 4 or 5 times that game.
Yeah, but now it's big dudes that are beating up on him, and like, he used to get tossed around by guards. Like,
yeah, Marcus Smart. KP said when Marcus Smart put him on lockdown, that made him realize that he needed to change the game up a little bit.
Yeah, like his game is way different right now as he gets stronger, and it shows. Because you know what I'm saying, he's doing things that he's driving to the lane, and on plays last year, he'd get knocked off his block, and you know what I'm saying, the play would get reset. But now he's finishing. You know what I'm saying? Now he's getting the hoop in the arm, and it puts you in a different bracket. And like you said, teams are going to be physical with him. And he just needs to figure out how, like you said, to take the lumps and still produce.
I think it also helps that you got rid of, and this is my dig on Carmelo, you got rid of the volume scorer. You got rid of the guy who, with 17 seconds left on the shot clock, is going to hold the ball for 10 seconds and then pull up.
But you also got rid of the guy who was going to save you with 7 seconds left on the shot clock. You could just throw it to him and he could breathe a sigh of relief, and you don't have to worry anymore. He was a crutch for them. They were like, oh, okay, we don't have to make this offense work, really, because we know we can throw it to Carmelo when it all breaks down. We don't have to worry about this triangle, really, because we got the bailout. And that's what happened. Carmelo wasn't catching the ball 17 minutes and just holding it. He was catching. You give it the ball at 9 seconds, yeah, he's going to hold on to it. But if you give the ball to the person at the top of the key, at the elbow, and nobody's moving,
it's been that way with Carmelo.
It's ISO basketball now.
It's been that way with Carmelo in Denver. Was that way in New York?
It's not like that on the Thunder. It's not like that when he plays in the Olympics, because when you give an assassin options outside of the assassin, it's easy. It's light work.
Yeah,
they
but
just shoot.
It wasn't like that in the Olympics because Melo knows you need the best player on the team in the Olympics. Like, you can't ego trip and be like, yo, pass me the rock with 15
Who's
seconds.
the best scorer in the Olympics right now?
What you mean?
Like, all time.
Listen, what I'm saying is...
Who's more efficient than Olympic Melo?
Melo don't need to be the first option is my point.
Yes.
That's my point.
Yes.
And I think...
But Kevin Durant isn't the first option to Golden State, and he's in his best position right now. It's the same thing.
Is Kevin Durant not the first option in Golden State?
He's getting
they got a system
he's
that
getting
works.
all of Harrison Barnes' shots. Nothing changed. But now you're giving all of Harrison Barnes' shots to a guy who's going to knock down the jumper.
I don't know if I agree with that. I would say Durant, since he's been on that team, if we look at the numbers, has probably led that team in scoring.
Yes, he's led them in scoring, but he's not their number one option. He's just open all the time because you have Klay Thompson and Steph Curry going off screens, and he's open in transition. Like, look at the way he scores for them. They're not running plays for him.
Nobody. You don't run plays for anybody on that team.
Oh, they run plays for Klay. They run plays for Curry.
Well, yeah, Klay didn't run plays for because I just think that system is so fine-tuned that I think you could substitute Klay, put in whoever, Iguodala, put in Livingston, and have Curry play the 2, and whatever play you're going to run for Thompson, you just run it for Curry. Like, it works where it don't matter who you plug in, run that same play, and it's going to work. That's what Golden State. A shooter in that spot. That's where Golden State is at right now. You know what I'm saying? So I'm not necessarily saying they're going to call plays for this player. I think they're just going to call plays for that specific time in the game. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Like, that's just how it is. So a lot of credit should go to Steve Kerr because he got them, like Mark Jackson molded.
He brought the X and O's.
Yeah, but Mark Jackson molded that team, though.
Yes.
Mark Jackson molded that team, and this is what bothers me a little bit because I think, you give Mark Jackson the last 3 years with Golden State, he probably wins a ring too. 1, maybe not 2, but he wins 1. I think so.
I at least 2, because I think they'd be more defensive, and they're a really good defensive team right now. But I think Mark Jackson would have that defense clicking even more.
Okay, so there you go. So how much credit do you give Kerr then?
Not much, because every time he sits out, they still win games, and that might be a testament to the structure he put in place, or it might be a testament to the structure Mark Jackson put in place.
Okay. I think Mark Jackson is responsible for the success of Draymond Green also.
Very much so.
Steve Kerr had anything to do with that.
Nothing at all.
But back to the Knicks, I think that having the dynamic of minus Melo and you add Cantor and Hardaway, I just think Cantor and Hardaway kind of just make up for whatever Melo left.
Yeah.
Without having... Look, maybe, and again, we'll probably disagree on this too. I agree with addition by subtraction when it came to getting rid of Melo. I think Melo's time here, whether Phil Jackson was here or not, it was time to go. And
the way things played out, yes. Like, if you consider the human aspect of it. But if you're just considering X and O's, you didn't get back good enough value for the type of player that Carmelo is. You'd be better suited keeping a player like Melo on your team. So when Porzingis is really ready to carry this team to the whatchamacallit, and you have him as your sixth man just coming off the bench scoring 17 points.
Who, Melo?
Yes, unconsciously, with no concern about defense.
I think Melo's ego allows him to come off the bench.
If you're winning games, people try to make Melo to be this egomaniacal person, but where has this ego shown up?
When the reporter tried to suggest that Melo might come off the bench, and he giggled and said, "You heard yo P? You heard they want me to come off the bench."
Who's gonna play over him? That is funny.
It was a dumb suggestion on the reporter's part, but for him to respond that way is kind of like.
Oh, he's supposed to be humble.
No, He could be humble. He ain't done it. What has Melo accomplished? If we really want to get this Carmelo conversation.
He won an NCAA championship. He got four Olympic gold medals. He scored the most points.
Don't give me all that.
Okay.
Melo showed me who he was.
He's been an all-star for like 8 years.
Melo showed me who he was when he said he didn't have a problem if he never won a championship. You might feel that way. You don't say that out loud. I'm sorry. You don't say that out loud. When you said that, Knicks fans would have been like, it's time for you to go.
I can understand it, but...
You feel me? If I don't win the championship, I'm good. What?
For saying it out loud?
Don't say it out loud. I'm sure there are a lot of players that feel that way. Let me get my money. Let me get this money. Let me get this endorsement deals. Let me live this lavish lifestyle and ride off into the sunset. But you don't say that out loud. You can say that out loud if you play for San Antonio, Memphis, one of those small and middle market teams. You playing in New York, my man. You can't say that out loud.
So it's his job to preserve the illusion?
What do you mean illusion? What do you mean? What exactly do you mean when you're saying illusion? Though, it's not an illusion. Like in the next 5 to 7 years, could the Knicks win the championship? Absolutely. Number one, because the East is so weak. That's part of it. You know what I'm saying? Definitely part of it because the East is so weak. But 5 or 7 years, can the Knicks win the championship? Absolutely. But if you say you're okay with I could retire and not win the championship, I'm good with it. Charles Barkley never said that, and I'm not even a fan about it. That's
contentment. You know what I'm saying? And people, there's this illusion that athletes, sports is their end-all, be-all, and if they don't achieve this or that and the third, it's like they're people.
No, I get it. Listen, you're talking to a LeBron James fan, so when people say, yo, he only got 3 rings, I get, like, I'm not stuck on just the accomplishments and rings and all that, but you can't say as a professional athlete, I'm okay with not winning. You cannot say that out loud to a fan base like New York who's passionate about winning, who haven't won a championship since 73? You cannot say that out loud. Come on, man. That's when people was like, all right,
consider. I saw what they did to Patrick, and I seen what they do to Melo. So I understand you have to reconcile shit with your mind, with yourself, because you're in a situation where you're giving your all, and people are trying to play you like you some clown, like who scores like him, really? There's 3 people in the league that score.
Basketball like him. Is more than scoring. This is my problem with the criticism of LeBron James. LeBron James don't have that killer instinct that Melo, Durant, Kobe, Jordan. He don't have that killer instinct. Basketball is way more than that, though.
Yeah.
And so, if you want to tell me Melo in his prime, because he's past his prime now, had that killer instinct and is giving you 35, cool, I get it. In the clutch, he's there. But you haven't, I'm sorry, he didn't accomplish anything. And Melo ain't played with scrubs. Melo has played with scrubs. Nah, man. Nah,
he didn't play with three Hall of Famers.
Nobody complained that Melo played with scrubs when he made it to the Western Conference Finals. Right?
Okay. That 1 year when Chauncey Billups was balling with him that year.
That 1 year, yes.
Yeah, when you gave him some actual athletes to play with, some actual basketball play, he took your team to the Western Conference Finals. Isn't that weird?
Okay, so the LeBron and Melo track kind of goes parallel because they were taken in the same draft, and it was a back and forth about who you would take first, right?
On the other side of Darko.
Right. So LeBron, for his many finals losses, his first finals loss was like LeBron and Pringles, like LeBron and Cole.
LeBron by himself.
Right.
And
so I mean,
yeah, he's great for that. That was an Allen Iverson-esque
performance.
I wouldn't put it at them 76ers with some bums like George Lynch, Eric Snow. Tyrone Hill.
I would rather that team. You know, I'd rather that team because that team played defense.
Oh my God,
that team played defense, right? So I'd rather that team than LeBron's team.
Aaron McKee,
they played
defense.
Eric Snow,
defense. Like them niggas did that,
right?
Yeah.
So I would rather that Philly team
with Mutombo,
Larry Brown at the helm.
Oh man.
Than who's the Brown?
Like
coach?
LeBron would have won like 4 championships with Larry Brown.
Who was his coach when they went to the finals? Was it Mike Brown?
No, it was Larry Brown. Oh no, LeBron. Yeah, it was Mike Brown.
Come on, man. And he took that team to the finals. I remember watching that finals at Times Square.
Shit, Eric Snow was on that team too, actually.
Oh, it's okay. So there you go. Eric Snow was a Bobby Gibson.
Eric Snow was the
Ilgauskas. I think Drew Gooden is on that team.
Yep.
Like who's on that squad? Mo Williams. I think Mo Williams was the only other All-Star. I think that was the 1 year he made the All-Star team, if I'm not mistaken. Like Varejao, like.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying?
But that wasn't
Melo.
much.
So I don't want to hear the excuse of I didn't have anybody to play with. There's plenty of superstars who've gone, at least, and don't tell me the East was weak. I don't want to hear that either. But there's plenty of superstars who've gone places with nothing.
So context doesn't matter?
What do you mean?
That the East was weak? That doesn't matter?
I don't think the East was weak. Give me the teams in the East when LeBron took that team to the finals. Give me so who's in the East at that time?
I
think Boston.
They made it in the tail end of the Pistons and right before the Boston.
Okay, so tail end of the Pistons. That team is still together. They're just a little older, right?
Breaking apart.
Still
they don't have the speed to play the defense that they are known on.
That's the year. That's the year that LeBron dropped. I think like 37 in like fourth quarter and overtime. That's that same year. I mean,
he was just too much for him.
That's LeBron. That's that killer instinct that supposedly he doesn't have. That's what kills me about LeBron. I don't want to go my LeBron. I'm gonna save the LeBron rant for another day. I'm got some guests that gotta come on here. That's
there you go.
I'm gonna save it for another day. But what I'm saying is to keep it on Melo. I appreciate Melo's time in New York. I think you can't tell me it's not about ego when he had it when Stoudemire came out and talked about him after he left.
Stoudemire is hurt.
Why?
His ego is hurt because he was supposed to be the savior and his knees failed him.
I don't think his ego was hurt because Stoudemire is not a New York. He retired.
He's been talking salty shit since he left.
He retired a Knicks because he had issues with Phoenix. But Stoudemire is not a Knick in my eyes for him to have issues with Melo and talking about being salty and all that. He's not a Knick.
He's salty with his life.
Okay. He just got issues in general.
In general. He's always been salty. He was
shade at everybody.
Salty in Phoenix, had to leave salty in New York because you didn't achieve what you were supposed to, and we all know it.
Okay. I mean, I just think he overachieved with Steve Nash, but that's just me. I think he was better than
he
really was.
He made Steve Nash look like an all-star.
You're saying Steve Nash
was he an all-star in Dallas?
Steve Nash? Steve Nash had 2 MVPs back to back. No.
In Dallas?
No, Phoenix.
Was he an all-star in L.A.?
No. L.A. He didn't even count in L.A.
So he had like 4 good seasons in Phoenix.
Right. I'm not giving Stoudemire credit.
How many of them years was Stoudemire the power forward that nobody could guard?
Stoudemire didn't get any MVP votes. It was all Nash.
Exactly.
You saying Stoudemire is responsible for that?
Yes.
Nah, how?
Because they were
just dunk the ball.
Steve Nash wasn't MVP either of those years. Both of those years, it belonged to Kobe one year.
Kobe was one
and whatchamacallit?
Maybe LeBron?
No, was it? I think it was LeBron that year, yeah. But yeah. It was, I think that was the actual Dumpng year. That he was, I don't know. Either way, that nigga Steve Nash is a bum.
I don't want to call him a bum. Steve Nash, how do I put this? Steve Nash, with the exception of the 3-point, well, he could shoot 3-pointers. He wasn't putting up points like Curry, but he was Curry before Curry. He wasn't putting up. He wasn't putting points.
Was Curry before Curry.
No, I'm talking about the modern day NBA because at that time they started with 3-pointers and all that.
All right. If you want to say Steve Nash was Curry before Curry and that he excelled because nobody could touch him, yes.
Right, yes, that's what I mean.
Yes,
but I'm not giving Stoudemire credit for that. Hey, listen, Curry got 2 MVPs of the same rules, so I'm not holding that against him that they couldn't touch him. Curry got 2 and a unanimous MVP for the same rules. So we want to do that with Steve Nash. We could do that with Curry too.
No, I think Curry took his team to championships.
Curry deserved the unanimous MVP? I know we're bouncing around here, but Curry deserved the unanimous?
More than Nash.
Well, Curry's the first person to ever get it. Ever. The only person to get it, too. Unanimous MVP.
Unanimous, like, that's like voters and stuff like that.
Right. So the reason why LeBron didn't get it, because there's one prick from New York who decided he didn't deserve it. He gave his vote to?
Fuck LeBron, too.
Hello, Anthony. You don't like LeBron? Oh, you're on that wagon. Okay. All right, listen, we can go back and forth about LeBron. That's fine. I'm
like, how you gonna call yourself the king of New York when you had the opportunity to be the king of New York and you bitched up?
You're saying why didn't LeBron come to New York?
No. If you want to call yourself the king of New York, Come be the king of New York. Don't come here 2 times a season, play good one time, every 3 years, and try to call yourself the king. Now, get the fuck out of here.
He only said it because of the whole back and forth with Cantor and
Word, like Dennis Smith. Oh, they fucking 2-9. How good is Dallas right now?
I mean,
get out of here.
I'd rather have Dennis Smith though.
All right, so you're gonna wait 6 years for him to be good?
What do you mean wait 6 years?
He's on the John Wall development plan.
Dennis Smith?
Yes.
He's better than Frank right now.
Okay, but Frank is going to be playing playoff basketball maybe by the end of this year.
Mark my words.
Dennis Smith is going to be an albatross on his team for the first 5 years of his career.
Mark my words. Nidalina? Tilakina will never start for the Knicks, ever. He's not a starting point guard in the NBA. He can't score. He's not a starting point guard in the NBA.
But he passes, defends, and he doesn't shoot like an NBA. But who we have last year?
The point guard? Ron Baker, and Derrick Rose, and
Jose Calderon.
We had Calderon last year?
We had Calderon.
I mean, are you saying if he's an upgrade from last year? Okay, maybe. But if you're telling me if I have the chance to take Dennis Smith Jr., if I'm in the green room and I'm on the clock and I'm the New York Knicks, and I got to choose between Dennis Smith Jr. and Frank, say that last name for me?
Tilakina.
I think it's Nilakina. Tilakina.
And it's silent.
And okay, I thought the T was silent. Okay. And Frank, we're just going to say Frank. I'm taking Dennis Smith. I'm sorry.
We had Dennis Smith.
What do you mean we had Dennis Smith?
Derrick Rose. And how did that work out for us?
You don't know if Dennis Smith can't play defense.
He didn't play it in college? He doesn't play it in Dallas?
Here's what I heard. My sources tell me. My sources tell me that the reason why the Knicks didn't take him is because he had an issue with his knee, which he did, and he refused to let the Knicks do like their own individual scope or
so you don't play defense and you're a head case with possible medical history injury? Come on, B.
Yo,
give me the 6'5", 18-year-old with orangutan arms who's stealing shit at an alarming rate, getting deflections left and right, and is going to be a defensive stalwart in this league for the next 15 years.
He's Tony Allen. I'm not taking Tony Allen with the 8th pick. If we do a fantasy draft in 2K, I'm not taking Tony Allen with the 8th pick. I'm sorry, I'm not. He's Tony Allen. You could have got that in the 2nd round. You could have got that from the D-League. You could have got that in free agency.
You're gonna use he doesn't develop.
You're going to use the 8th. You could have got Malik Monk. You could have drafted Dennis Smith. You could have drafted so many other people. Not him, not in the 1st round. He's not going to be bad. He'll be good. He'll be a defensive playmaker, just like you said. He'll create turnovers. He'll create havoc on the defensive end. He can't score. He shouldn't have been the 8th pick. I'm sorry. He's not allowed.
He doesn't look to score. There's a difference.
What do you mean he doesn't look to score?
He's a pass-first point guard.
In the shoot-first point guard league. 10 years ago, 12 years ago, he'd have been fine. Not now. He's going to get eaten alive. And with all due respect, let me see him play against Westbrook first. Let me see him play against Harden first before I call him this defensive stalwart.
No.
I want to see him play.
Fed him his lunch.
I want to. Okay, so then.
But Harden feeds everybody lunch.
All right, then. That's who you need to get by to win the championship.
He also made some plays against Harden.
Come on,
we haven't stopped anybody from the off the pick and roll since Derek Harbor.
Yo, Frank plays 32 minutes a night as a starting point guard for the New York Knicks. He'll be lucky if he averages 10 points a game. You can't do that in today's NBA.
But I bet you his plus minus will be plus 17
and he can't
every night.
He can't shoot the 3. He's Patrick Beverly without a 3-pointer shot.
He is 18. He's going to work. That shot's going to come.
But
he's going to get stronger. And he's going to be able to learn to finish in the lane. The fact of the matter is, this man has been playing professional basketball since he's 15. I'm not worried about his development. Dennis Smith, I've seen your story before. It's called John Wall. I'm going to see you in 6 years when you figure it out.
Wait, okay. So if you're telling me you got to sit on Dennis Smith for 6 years, deal with the ups, downs, and the peaks and the plateaus, so I get John Wall in 6 years, I'm saying sign me up. You're saying John Wall like John Wall's a problem.
What I'm saying is, Keena, he's going to be ready to go in 2 years, and he's going to be. I feel like we're going to be we're gonna be throwing garden parties because there's gonna be Tilikina and Porzingis, the unicorn and the French Prince, and nobody's even gonna remember there was a time when we didn't love this man.
He can't score.
We don't need scoring. We give up too many points every night. That's our problem.
Okay, we'll we'll agree to disagree. He's only played 14 games.
You remember the Knicks when when teams just score more than 90 points, everyone was mad. Everybody in the whole damn city was mad. Now we give up 115 like it's nothing. We don't need to score more points. We need to play defense.
Listen, folks, I'm gonna give you up to the minute info on Frank Ntilikina. The Knicks game just ended. They beat Utah 105-101. Frank was +7 in 20 minutes. He had 7 points and 0 assists.
+7.
I mean, I'm just saying.
Yeah, okay.
I'm just saying. Good win for the Knicks tonight. They won by 4. They outscored Utah by 9 in the fourth, so that means they were losing that game. And it makes them 7-6, and it makes them 6-3 at home. So good win for the Knicks.
It's a good win.
We'll see. We'll keep track of Frank Ntilikina and Dennis Smith Jr. throughout the season. By the way, this whole controversy, and we'll end it off with this. This whole controversy, people, the LeBron thing went over everybody's head. It was a shot at Phil Jackson.
Why are you still talking about Phil?
Because Phil Jackson took a shot at him last year.
Did he?
We mean did he? He said what is it, posse? Him and his posse?
Yeah, like people,
I would have took offense to that.
People is mad bored. They don't got shit to talk about.
I would have been offensive. I would have took offense to that. If you told me my team...
Niggas been calling niggas Cruz posse since the 80s.
But listen, LeBron is a LeBron probably a billionaire at this point. Between the deal with Apple...
And you know what... All right, I'm going to cut you off.
No, I'm just saying. What I'm saying is, he's got a team around him that's more than just basketball. He's got a team around him that just doesn't, carry his Beats bag and duffel bag and then go play ball. Those are business people.
Yeah, but that same team made the Miami charter plane wait 4 hours so that's the incident Phil Jackson was talking about.
That's one time.
Exactly.
One time.
Yes. So when you make the whole damn basketball team wait for your posse to finish partying, somebody gets to talk about it.
Yo, you win me 2 rings, you can party.
See, it's about context. We're forgetting. You can't act like on some gang crew shit like we just having fun and then be mad when somebody brings it up.
Would Mark Cuban have ever called Dirk Nowitzki's squad his inner circle posse? No. So was there a little bit of race in there? Absolutely.
It's racing everything.
So LeBron was annoyed.
Why?
My point. My point is though that he was taking a shot at Phil, and the New York media ate it alive. Frank ate it alive because Frank is the one who started that little scruffle in the paint after the ball. It
was LeBron whole ass standing up over him.
No,
man,
son.
I was able to punch that nigga in the face. Fuck that. Shoot, come on, man. I would have came out the stands and gave him a 2. That nigga's a hoe.
Listen, before the show starts, we don't talk about the talking points per se. We like to keep it fresh. I wasn't aware of Big Lou was LeBron here. We're gonna have some interesting conversation.
I love LeBron, but you was a hoe for that one. The nigga fucking picking up the basketball, you gonna stand over him? Come on, man. Don't do no fake tough guy shit because there's real tough guys out here.
LeBron just finished catching the alley. The ball bounced. LeBron landed. Frank was about to pick up the ball.
And then you put your pelvis on a nigga. No. You were hoe for that one. Because if that nigga got up and punch you in your face, you would have been like, oh, that nigga crazy.
Frank pushed him 3 times. But that's not even the beef.
Because he kept on.
Hold on. That's not even the beef, though. LeBron running in Frank's face when he pushed him 3 times. It was cancer. LeBron got no beef with Frank. As a matter of fact, the story is LeBron's old teammate.
Frank do got beef with LeBron. You speaking my name out of context. Don't get slapped.
He didn't mention Frank.
You ain't a tough guy.
He just said Dennis Smith should be a Knick.
Nigga, you been in AU your whole life. You ain't been in these streets.
He said... He said Dennis Smith should have. Frank is from France. He ain't in the streets.
Nigga, France is dirty. Nigga.
Listen.
And before he was in France, he was in the Congo. They was fleeing war.
Is he African?
Yeah.
I didn't know that. Okay.
Fleeing war. Don't sleep on my man Frank, man.
Listen. I hope Frank is good. For your sake. Because we didn't need a role player. We didn't need a bench player. We didn't need, we
need a KP sidekick, and I think we got it.
For Frank? No. I hope Tim Hardaway continues what he did at the end of last season in Atlanta and becomes a sidekick. I hope if Frank is a sidekick, we have no hope. No. How is he the sidekick?
Tim Hardaway, I just need him to be John Starks. Be the assassin.
Better than Starks.
Better
than Starks. Starks ain't never averaged 18, 20 a game, did he?
Yes. The year he made it All-Star, for a couple of years he was 15 plus. But he also was second team defensive for like 5 years.
Okay.
And so that's where Tim Hardaway needs to step it up. That's why I say when I want Starks from him, I want that defense, that headbutting fucking Reggie Miller. I need that from Tim Hardaway.
His daddy was gritty like that. Maybe he'll be like that too.
Frank is going to be the sidekick because none of it's too big for him.
Frank is Charlie Ward. I'm sorry. It's Charlie Ward. We didn't need it with the 8th pick though. You had Malik Monk. You had Dennis Smith Jr.
He played Malik Monk the other day. Malik Monk was getting his thing, but in the fourth quarter he got shut down. And if I'm not mistaken, I think Frank played that whole quarter. And we put them niggas to sleep.
+7. I'm sorry. Yeah.
+7.
Nah, +7. Yeah. I'm sorry. +8. He had 7 points. He had 7 points. It was +8. So we'll see. I like Frank. Don't get me wrong. I like Frank, but maybe we'll get Frank on the show one day when we get lucky.
Shit, man. I don't think he know anybody in his town with the guards.
Frank, we get big enough for Frank could call in and get on the show. But that's enough for today for this week. Big Lou, G Dot. Watch more sports. Please catch us on the YouTube page. It's going to be coming out soon. We'll have some special guests on here. We'll have the phone number rocking. We'll have people calling in.
We talk about how bitch made LeBron is.
I'm a LeBron fan. We're going to go back and forth on LeBron, bro.
Yeah, we're going to talk about it.
We're going to go back and forth with LeBron. But appreciate y'all tuning in. We'll catch y'all next week. Peace.
Peace.